Ms. Banda, thank you very much for coming through. Firstly, what is the Women's League, Young Women's Desk position versus that of your mother body who are calling for Zizi Kodwa to be suspended pending whether or not he is cleared?
There is only one position, and that's the position of the ANC Women's League, which we are rallying behind with, and that is to call for the suspension of Comrade Zizi until the matter is brought to its conclusion, because we believe we can't have a comrade that is accused with such serious allegations to continue to speak for the liberation movement, the ANC, because rape is a very sensitive matter, a criminal sensitive matter, and the ANC is the party of the people and the party that believes in the liberation of women cannot continue to have such a person speaking for it.
Ms. Banda, does it concern you that the alleged victim has yet to open a case with the police, even after having been advised to do so?
Victims, I'm highly concerned. That's why we're saying we are going to be looking for her so that we have our own engagement with her and to just offer our support to her. Victims go through a lot. Victims are being demonized in the public space. Victims are distrusted. Victims are called names. Victims are called things that should make them to be doubted. It's not easy to be a victim. It's very tough. And those could be part of the reasons why the young woman has not stood up to open a case, but we have to know facts when we meet her.
Has the Women's League or yourselves as the Young Women's Desk, which form part of the Women's League, have you had a discussion with your comrade Zizi Kodwa to establish whether this indeed did take place? Because there was a conversation with him yesterday through our reporter, and there seems to be a suggestion from his part that this actually may not have taken place.
No, we have not engaged him, just like we have not engaged all other men that are accused of a violation of women. Or simply because we take a stance as the ANC Women's League that we support and we believe victims, and we take the side, a subjective side with and for the victim. So we believe what the victim tells us, and it's up to those that are accused to actually clear their names.
Talk to us about what your next move is going to be. You're saying that you're going to find this young woman. She has clearly not found it necessary, at least for now. We're not sure what her reasons are to go and open a case with the police. But there does seem to be a suggestion from the letter that she wrote to the Secretary General's office that the monetary compensation will go some distance, not just for the pain that she suffered, but also to cover medical bills. How does that sit with you?
I think that presentation and the demand she's making, she can go and make it in court to say she's got health bills, medical bills to cover. She's got other psychological, emotional stresses that need treatment after every, experience of every rape victim. She can make that presentation before the court. So that's why we believe that she must come forward and open a case. To make a demand outside the court, it will be difficult, because who makes that determination of the extent of the pain and the compensation and so on and so on? It's things that could be presented before the court, and we'll be encouraging it to go forward and do that.
Does that not raise a concern with you, and of course just the perception around this case that here's a victim who's been encouraged to go to the police, but she has not done that yet? But what is clear in her statement is that she is saying that monies, which clearly were part of this very negotiation, this convoluted negotiation involving, by the way, a person by the name of Papa Leshabane, who's linked to Bosasa, a company that has since liquidated itself as a result of corrupt activities. The issue of money inside this particular case, does it raise a concern with you? Because Zizi Kodwa as well does seem to suggest that there might be a case of extortion here that he might end up pursuing.
Would see if he pursues the case of extortion. It's within his rights to do that, to pursue such a case. We encourage justice through the courts of law, and we don't encourage victims to take matters into their own hands and decide for themselves what kind of punishment or compensation that they demand. But what the problem with how society views this victim is that when she says, I need money for medical bills and so on, therefore, whatever happened did not happen, it discredits her claim. That's the problem that we have, that the fact that she's made that demand should not be enough to discredit the claim that she has been raped and she has gone through a lot of pain as a result of whatever happened with Comrade Zizi.
Ms. Banda, there is also the political element to this. The SACP warning yesterday at their press conference that cases of women abuse should not be exploited for factional political gains or for factional battles within the ANC. How do you respond to that warning?
We agree that cases of women abuse should not be exploited by those that rape women and come back and say it's factional and it's political, should not be exploited in any way that disadvantage women. Because how we also package it should not in any way, seem to relieve those that violate women. We don't want these cases to be used for political ends, but these cases are there, and how do we arrive at a determination that this indeed is for political ends and this is a genuine case? That's why we took a stance to say we support all victims. We are going to stand with all victims, and we are going to encourage victims to pursue justice, all of them, and let justice be served. And those that are caught or accused by these victims also use the platforms created in courts and whatsoever to clear their names. So we don't want to agree with just dismissing women because we could be thinking it's for political end. What if it's not?
This is, of course, the second such case, prominent case, well, along the list of many others. But there's a recent case of the spokesperson of the ANC, and that's Pulemabe, along with that victim, of course, that is still crying foul to this day. How do you think that case was dealt with? Are you satisfied with how the party dealt with that particular case?
It's a disappointment that the ANC does not have a sexual harassment policy, and we have publicly expressed such a disappointment, calling on the ANC to quickly and urgently, develop this sexual harassment policy. And this policy should be up to standard to ensure that it protects employees and women and manages power relations in the workplace. So the victim then of Comrade Pule subjected herself to that process of the ANC. She agreed to go through the process of the ANC. She had confidence, and we're repeatedly saying this, she had confidence in the process of the ANC. She gave the ANC a benefit of a doubt to arrive at a determination. And if the ANC then decides to conclude the case after it has followed whatever process it set up that both parties agreed on, it is okay for her to decide to pursue the matter further, because even those who go to court, if you are not happy with a judgment, you can decide to take it to a higher court. So if she decides that she's not happy with the verdict, she can take the matter further in other avenues that she deems fit. But she subjected herself to the ANC process because she agreed to it, and at that point she had confidence in the ANC, and we supported her in doing so.
Ms. Banda, we're completely out of time, but I've got to put the question to you. Should Pulemabe be allowed to go back as the face of the ANC spokesperson?
Comrade Kwerano has expressed intention that she wants to pursue this matter further. And we have been calling also for meetings with her so that we understand what are processes that are going to unfold. We are yet to sit down with her and hear. Our stance is very clear. We take the side of the victim. So far, Comrade Pule has been cleared by a process of the ANC. If the victim feels she's taking the matter further, as she indicated, she'll take the matter further, and we're going to stand with all victims, and we're going to stand with her like we've done with everyone else. We've done it before with all other victims, and we'll do it even moving forward to anyone, including her.
It's an ongoing case, meaning that it's not concluded.
No,
so
it is concluded.
Zizi Kodwa is not fit to be the face of the ANC. Is Bulamabe fit to be the face of the ANC?
As long as there is a case outstanding, he's not fit to be the face of the ANC. For anyone who has a case outstanding, it's not fit for them to be the face of the ANC. That's what we are saying. So the process of the ANC has closed. There is no case going on. But as soon as Khwerano takes the case forward, we're going to make similar calls like we have made in the past. So I don't know what is the crisis and why continuously these two cases are put against each other. It's unfair of the women. It's unfair of the two cases. It's unfair on the struggle for women that we have to compare the two cases. Why didn't you speak this way on this one? Why are you doing this on this one, and so on? It's really unfair.
Precious Panda, thank you very much for your time. She is the national convener of the ANC Women's League Young Women's Desk.